Welcome to Exhale by me, Sonya Stoeckert, a space where faith meets freedom and every woman is reminded of her God-given strength. Here we hold space for real stories, deep conversations, and the kind of encouragement that lifts your spirits and fuels your purpose. Today, we dive into a conversation that will inspire, challenge, and empower you to walk boldly in who God created you to be. So take a breath in through the nose and exhale. Let's begin. Welcome to another interview podcast on Exhale with my beautiful friend Jamie, aka the Goddess Next Door. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and what you do for a profession?
Okay. So I am 45, wife, mother of three, grandmother. Glamma is my name. And I have lots of titles. I like to consider myself a domestic goddess rather than a stay-at-home wife, mother. I'm also a stay-at-home cat mom. And I also like to express myself with OnlyFans site that I created, and
that you star in, right?
Yes, that I star in. That allows me to be my exhibitionist self, and my husband is also a co-star at times, but mostly it's me. And I share my daily rituals, what I like to wear, and our healthy, real sex life. There is no performance, and I'm very proud of that. I think that sets us apart from what most people, I think of porn and why it's not healthy.
Right.
And so
when you bring up that word porn, that is one of the leading addictions in America right now. You present it a lot differently than porn. And if you feel like you're judging right now about what she does for a living, and just knowing that this is a faith-based podcast, I'd like to share one Bible verse with you real quick. Let's go to Matthew 7:1-2, which states, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." So I brought you on here today because you really inspire me as an entrepreneur. You have created this beautiful Instagram that just empowers women to be raw and real. And I love that about you. You are gorgeous inside and out. Jamie is one of my best friends. She knows a lot about me, and I know a lot about her. And she's just an amazing person. Now, I've written down a few questions, and you were able to go over these questions in your spare time before. And I love that about this podcast because that gives you guys a chance to reflect and journal on these questions before we bring them out to our audience. We are trying to find our tribe. So all these women that I have on this podcast with me are already my tribe. And I'm trying to have you join our tribe too. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Let's jump into the first question. After reading a Bible verse, I guess it's perfect to start with faith. So my faith question to you is, faith can mean very different things to different people. And that's whether it's faith in a higher power, faith some people believe in the universe, or even believe in ourselves. How has faith in your journey, in your own way, guided you as the goddess next door?
Thank you. I have a lot of faith in myself. After going through a lot of life stuff, I feel like if I've survived up until this point and through some not so great stuff, then I can survive anything. And so I feel like my faith is that I will be okay no matter what.
Hey, I said that in my last podcast.
Did you?
It's my favorite line ever. You know you're going to be okay either way.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful thing to have faith in ourselves.
Right.
Because when we do walk through the hardships of life, that's usually the first thing that goes.
Right.
Self-worth, faith in ourselves. Sometimes it's even hard to believe the thoughts that come into our head in those situations after learning how to think in a certain way, you know, through belief systems and different things that you've walked through in life. So you're doing real good, girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How do you stay connected to your sense of purpose and inner strength during those life challenges that we just mentioned?
For me, it's time alone. I really see myself as an introvert. I spend 75% of my time alone, and I like to walk outside. I know you see it. Yeah, my walks outside. Nature is a big part of that for me. So walking, and I give myself pep talks. I cry.
I love that.
Yeah.
Crying's so healing.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your friends that you see on your walk? Your owls and your
my spirit animals.
Tortoise? Is it a tortoise?
Tortoise, yeah. The tortoise is my favorite.
Does he have a name?
Well, I see so many.
Okay.
I name them by whatever street I see them near.
I love that.
So I see the same ones because I go the same route. But the tortoise, everyone knows, is slow and steady. And that's, you know, a lot of times I've felt like maybe I'm behind. I'm not where I should be or where other people are. And then I see the tortoise and I'm reminded, you're right where you need to be, slow and steady.
Wins the race.
So, yeah. But then owls for a while were showing up for me. And that's, you know, trusting our inner wisdom, intuition, and that was really special. I have a glass vase on my dresser filled with owl feathers.
That's so cool.
That were dropped near that area. So,
and that really just gives our mind a little, hey, let's represent what we feel when we see these animals.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes, you know, we're searching for a sign of what's going on, what's up next, and just love seeing those owls and the little tortoises. And you do see snakes.
Yes, lots of snakes.
Lots of
snakes. For a long time, growing up as a kid, I was terrified of snakes. And now, I mean, I'm not going up and hugging them, but I respect them. Right. I respect them and I see them for the beauty they are. And they remind us of our spirituality and to stay grounded.
Yeah.
So they're meaningful. They're just not something I'd want as a pet.
No. No, my son asked for one, and that was a hard no.
No.
I just, no, thank you. Not caring for it, not doing it. So for me, with my purpose during life's challenges. Obviously, you've been my friend for a very long time. You know, Jesus is my center. Jesus is my cornerstone. And I make time for that stillness to hear God. So that really, really helps me. Yeah. Stillness is not my best friend. You've, again, known me for a very long time. I'm a very busy person. I have to be busy, feel busy, be doing stuff. And so stillness is a hard venture for myself. And I love watching you embrace it on there. And all the little, tidbits that you write along each time you see one of those animals. And that helps me be able to ground into my stillness for sure.
Good. I'm glad it helps.
Thanks. What role does, here's that word again, spirituality, and that can mean a lot of things, spirituality, intuition, even personal beliefs play in your relationships and your approach to life?
So I believe in like a universal consciousness. Even sometimes I go back and forth between a goddess figure, like a grandmother type figure, or Mother Nature, Mother Earth. But really, I just believe that everyone is doing their best and that everything will always work out as it should.
Trusting, right?
Trust.
And that's the first thing, is we need to learn how to trust in any religion and any spirituality, anything that you believe. Yes. Trust is the biggest thing. And action. Yeah. Then comes action.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to some fitness.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing, and you're definitely down with the fitness.
Yes.
Fitness is often more than just physical. It's mental and emotional too. And if anyone could understand that statement, it would be you, because you've dived into the emotional and the physical. How has staying active impacted your mindset and confidence as a woman?
Staying active reminds me that it's a gift to have our physical bodies. And instead of thinking I have to lift weights or I have to move, I get to.
Yeah.
I get to do this, whatever I want to do in that moment. And we met you were teaching yoga.
Yeah.
And I kind of go in and out of phases of strength training, yoga, whatever I'm focusing on at the moment. But the principle, the main thing behind it is that I enjoy using my body to move. And dancing is another one that I like to do. But fitness is a mental thing for me because it's where I zone out. It's my me time. Yeah. The thoughts come to me while I'm working out, but I love making time to do that.
And you're very intuitive of your body. You spoke of, sometimes I dance, sometimes I go to the gym, sometimes I do yoga, and our bodies ask for different things at different times through different seasons.
Yes, and that's where I think I connect the being a woman, is because we're not always in that feeling of being strong. Some days I feel like I need to just surrender, and that's where the yoga comes in, or just walking, even gentle, instead of always pushing.
Right. The yin and the yang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The light and the dark. You can't have light without dark.
Right.
So I know that you've shared on your Instagram and with me that you've done the somatic healing movement. This is kind of a sneak question, but how did that impact you?
A lot. It was very profound. Realizing that what I was doing before that, I was so focused on trying to force my body to do something it wasn't happy to do. I was doing more high intensity. I think that was when we were doing the booty yoga, which I
was
loved.
so fun.
Right. It was fun, but my body was not enjoying it. And so my cortisol was rising. I was gaining weight in places that I wasn't happy about.
Right.
And so doing those movements was like a total 180, slowing way down. Most of them you do laying in bed, and it reminded me to honor that side, that I can't always push. I need to back off and be gentle.
Yeah.
So
Kind of finds even stillness in
yes.
that. And somatic movement is way deeper than just moving.
Yeah.
It is a scientific way to release built up
Yes.
trauma in your body.
Yeah. So lots of tears
Yeah.
with the hip opening,
Yes.
releasing. I didn't realize how much trauma I had held in my hips. And those hip opening exercises were no joke.
They're intense,
Yes.
but they're freeing.
Yes.
And
very.
You've gone to a few of my yoga classes before. A lot.
A few.
I love
Yeah.
it. And that's the way I teach. I teach that somatic healing movement.
Yes.
And a lot of people will come to me after class and they're like, I just bawled my eyes out in Shavasana. And I'm like, thank you. That's a compliment. And they're like, I didn't want to cry today. I was like, but tell me how you feel. And they're like, I feel so free. This
Yeah.
is so much different than any other yoga class I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's because you're releasing all this built up trauma in your body.
Yeah.
And again, people hear that word
It's a
trauma.
gift.
It is a gift. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And dis-ease ultimately leads to disease.
Yes.
You keep all that stored in your body. And I'm not talking about just mental trauma, because that is part of it, emotional trauma. But we've, all had physical trauma. If you've
Yeah.
ever fallen or
Car accident.
car accidents.
Yeah. Even childbirth can
Childbirth?
be very traumatic for
Yes,
some.
it can. It definitely can.
Yeah.
I put a little poll on my Facebook before I started my podcast, and I was talking and I brought up the trauma, and someone had said that they threw themselves out of their ex's car, and they were like, "Will that help with that trauma?" And I was
Wow.
like, "Yes, let's come." Start moving that through your body.
Yeah.
And, not that alone. We need to work through talk therapy, and which
Yeah.
I've known that you've done
Yeah.
a lot of. You did the EMDR.
Yeah. And that's another, mind body healing modality. That was cool too.
And I highly recommend that. That helps on the brain waves and the neuroscience. And I'm like obsessed with that stuff. So
Yeah, me too.
if I could go back to my 17-year-old self and be like, self, you want to just work with the brain, I'd be like, what? Do I even have a brain right now? I'm 17.
Frying it with
Exactly. With life. Right?
Yes.
As someone who inspires others to embrace the raw and the real, what advice would you give to someone starting their fitness journey and that might feel like intimidated to go to the gym, to go to yoga, to go to
Right.
anything?
I would say just start. Just do one thing. I think sometimes I get crippled by research. I research and research and research, and then you're stuck. Just do it.
Right.
Just go. Just find a friend to go to a class. I know for me it was so helpful. This was before I knew you. Otherwise, I would have had you help me with this. But I think hiring a trainer to go to the gym with you, to show you around, to show you the proper form for the exercises.
Especially beginning to learn.
Yes. Very important.
So much easier to learn correct than it is to unlearn.
Yes, exactly. So I would say have someone do that, and even if it's just short term, so then you can learn the exercises, then you can go back and Even videoing yourself
Right.
to check your form. I like to do that. But I think people get hung up on, well, everybody's watching me. And okay, so even if they are, by the
Right.
time they leave that day, they're going to be thinking about somebody else, so learn to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
I had to remind myself as I tripped over weights or did a machine wrong, I had to learn to laugh at myself.
Right.
It's not so
a
serious.
learning process.
Yes.
And 99.9% of people that are in the gym are too busy looking at themselves to
Yes.
even notice
Yes.
what you have going on,
Exactly.
They're there to work on themselves, you're there to work on yourself.
Right.
And I had added hire a personal trainer.
Yes.
I know one if you need one.
Right.
Join a group fitness. That was
Yes.
huge for me when I started getting back into it, because I was just as intimidated, and I began having friends. We
Yeah.
would meet up. That would make me want to go to more classes. And then I wrote, even just go for a walk.
Yes.
Start there. Start your journey. 21 days to create a habit.
Right.
Just start.
Just do it.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. My favorite subject, neuroscience and mindset. So our brains, which we just talked about, are so powerful in shaping how we live. And what mindset shifts have you been most transformative for you in becoming the woman that you are today?
I think realizing that my thoughts are powerful was huge. So I kind of dabbled in law of attraction, law of assumption, and realizing that if I changed the way I thought, then it would change how my life actually panned out. And I didn't realize that that's how it worked.
Right.
But it does. So I didn't believe it at first. And I did little things like I would say, I'm going to see a tortoise today, or, things that were not high value, that if I didn't, okay, I wasn't
Right.
going to be disappointed. Well, then I did. Then I would, say I was going to find money, and I found money, and
That's a
just,
good one.
Yeah.
I want to find money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and putting a positive spin, like I said before, assuming that everyone is just doing their best
Yeah.
takes away the taking things personal.
Yeah.
And so I think thinking to myself, like if I'm late somewhere, well, that was a good thing, because if I had been a few minutes earlier, maybe I would have gotten into an accident.
And that's huge. I'm a firm believer of that. Like,
Yeah.
it's holding you back from maybe something
Yes.
catastrophic.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
saying that it's an excuse for being late all
No,
the time,
or,
but once in a while.
if an appointment gets canceled,
Yes.
or if a friend cancels a meetup, it's not like, oh, what's wrong with me? It's like, thank you. That
Right.
was divine guidance.
Yes.
Somehow I was not meant to be in that place.
Yeah, like somebody's
So-
protecting you.
Yeah.
So to circle back to, like, I'm going to find money today, and you find money today. Let's just do a cool experiment. So I just want to look for a purple car.
Okay.
Purple car. The next 3 days, we're going to see
You're-
so many purple
You're gonna
cars.
we are going to see purple
You're
cars.
going to see purple cars. You're going to see purple cars.
There
I
you
am
go.
going to see purple cars.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
that'll be fun. Put in the
Yes.
comments if you see a purple car. I'd love
Yeah.
to hear that. Do you have any practices like mindfulness or journaling that help you maintain balance and focus on your daily life? Any rituals, any things you do every day?
Yes, I love my morning ritual. I wake up every morning excited. So I eat my breakfast, and then I go out to my front porch, and I let the sun hit my eyes bare. I wear glasses, contacts,
Yeah.
like you do.
Yep.
So no covering. So I let the sun get in my eyes, and I listen to some kind of motivational talk. Right now I'm listening to Louise Hay. Have you heard of her?
No.
I love her. I think she's law of attraction is her base, but she has a book called Heal Your Life.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so she talks a lot about how your thoughts manifest your life, and how physical conditions are connected to what's going on in your life.
There's that disease again.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how I found her, is because I was trying to figure out why I was having whatever, I don't even remember what was going on, but she has a whole list of like every physical condition you could think of. So it's kind of neat to see, like, an example. Probably a month or so ago, I had a sty in my eye. And she says that's that you need to see something more clear.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've always been told a sty in the eye is because you peed on the side of the road. So we just debunked that. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah, no one will know.
No one
knows. But then after that, so I do 10 minutes of that, and then I bare feet go to the grass, and I do grounding, earthing. I know
that.
you're a big fan of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I say good morning to the sun, and I do my 3 things I'm grateful for. And I just, again, time alone. Sometimes my son will join me out there. He knows that's my thing.
Yeah.
But I like to start my day in that tone. So it's like a predictability.
Yeah.
I like predictability and routine.
Routine is really, really good.
Yes. And then I also do regularly tapping.
You do tapping?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
I teach that in my class, yoga classes sometimes.
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
it's pretty profound, the reaction that people get from doing that.
Yeah, it works with the meridians in your body, just like acupuncture.
Yeah.
So
It's science.
pretty cool. Yeah,
I love
know.
science. My mornings, I wake up and then drink my hot bean water. You don't drink coffee, you drink tea. Oh, you drink coffee?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I love coffee.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. I thought you were a tea drinker.
I both. But
Okay.
I have to have coffee in the morning.
It's that hot bean water.
Yeah.
It wakes you up.
Yeah.
I also ground, but I ground in the Bible in the morning, and then I do my prayers, and it's very freeing, because even if my son wakes up or my husband's present, no one bothers me
Yeah.
in those moments.
Yeah.
I have my Bible open. I am old school, so I go down and pray on my knees, and my son could be in the most hyperactive. He will bounce all over the couch, go around me, and then bounce on the rest of the couch. It's great.
Good.
Morning routines are very important to just get your day going.
Yeah.
Do you make your bed?
Oh, yes.
I do too.
Always.
Yeah.
I'm a big stickler of making your bed every morning.
I feel like that really sets the
Yeah.
tone for the day.
Yeah. It's such an accomplishment. And I know you have talked about this before. I love having lists and checking things off. So I don't add making my bed to the list, because I do that
Right.
every day. But just doing that makes me feel accomplished.
Yeah.
So
Do you add
Yeah.
things to the list like I do
Oh,
for
yeah.
instant gratification? High five, girlfriend. We are allowed that, and we deserve that.
yes.
All right, let's get a little deeper and thoughtful right now. What does being the goddess next door that you are
Yes.
mean to you, and how do you embody that title in a way that aligns with who you are at your core?
So being the goddess next door, so I actually came up with that name as a hybrid. I had first heard domestic goddess, and that was in reference to being a stay-at-home mom. And I thought that sounds a lot more fancy than just stay-at-home mom.
I do love the domestic
So-
goddess, though.
Right? And so then I think I was coming up with a name for my OnlyFans, and I thought, every woman deserves and wants to feel like a goddess, whether she does what I do, or, whether nobody on the outside can see. She is a goddess. We all are. And so I thought, and kind of, I like psychology, and I know what men specifically like, and I know that they want someone relatable
Yeah.
and real.
And you're learning that more and more
Yes.
in what you do for a profession.
Yes, that is like, if I could say the one thing I hear over and over and over again from repeat customers, fans, is that they stay and they keep coming back because I'm real, because they see a real body and real actions. There's no performance.
Right.
And, I don't believe in Botox and cosmetic surgery, and I believe in embracing who we are.
And that's where, we have talked before, that's where it kind of defined you out of that porn category into an entertainer,
right,
and
exhibitionist.
But that's the word I was looking for.
But I'm
yes.
married, and I'm in a monogamous relationship, and I'm a wife and a mother, and like all the real things.
Right.
But I'm also a sexual being. We all are.
Yeah.
And not everyone chooses to show it, to the rest of the world, but I think it's something very sacred, and there's a welcome message that every fan will get when they subscribe, and it's like me saying that you have been given an inside look into my real life, and I trust that you value that as sacred.
Right.
And
because you are letting them into your sacred life behind closed doors.
Right.
That's what it is. So that's something that I always thought was really cool, that you say that you're letting yourself age gracefully, like when we bring up Botox or any of that stuff. And I love that you embrace that. That's a beautiful thing. And I feel like I'm trying to let myself age gracefully. You
are. But aging is a privilege. I know that we're fighting against the beauty industry wants to influence, because follow the money. That's what it is. It's money.
Right.
So they want you to feel insecure. But years ago, the most valued women were the wise crones.
Yeah.
60 and older.
Yeah.
They were the ones that everyone went to for advice and revered as, this amazing person. So I'm excited about that. I think that's beautiful. And I think being a goddess doesn't mean that you have to be like ethereal. It's not out of reach.
Right.
It's practical. Every woman can be a goddess.
And it's not saying that you're better than anyone else. You're just embracing who you are from its core.
Right.
I love that. Now, you brought up the crone. Can you explain to everyone the pattern where you begin and what gets you to crone? And, in your own words.
Right. So I just recently learned about this. I'm sure the goddess symbol is like a circle in the middle, and then there's two, they look like half moons on either side. But I think there's actually 4 phases. So maiden is our very young self. That's where my daughter is. And then mother can either be a literal mother, or just creation of any kind. Then you progress. So I think the old times it was just the 3, maiden, mother, crone.
Yes.
But we've kind of added in queen in between mother and crone. And so that's where you and I are, is in our queen era.
We are.
Yes. Fixing our crowns.
Our crowns.
And then crone is what we evolved to.
Well, they've always talked about legends of meeting with the old women that lived in Iraq and places like that. So that brings a lot of value into what we still uphold and kind of live through these days. And there are phases of our lives. We go in one phase, one season, and it's constantly changing, just like the seasons, you know?
Right. So embracing that instead of fighting it,
Yeah,
I think is really beautiful.
it is.
And,
it is.
and we all come to that in our own time. I think it depends on how you grew up, what you saw growing up, and if the older generation was valued,
Yeah.
then changes your idea. But I hope to change that.
Girl, you're changing the world. All right. My favorite here, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, knowing what you know now, right now, what would that be?
For me, it would be just to know that everything's going to be okay. As a young child, had so much fear. I felt so unstable, and my family life was not safe. Not in that I was abused, but my parents were arguing a lot. There was a lot of trauma there for me. I'm very sensitive, and so I think more than others, I took that on and felt that pain, and fear was a big part of my life.
And we embody that,
Yes.
and then we try to bring that into our new family
Yes.
as we get older and grow up
Yes.
and create ultimately our own families.
Right.
And
so I needed that reassurance that
Yeah.
everything's going to be okay.
yeah,
So,
it's beautiful.
yeah.
I love that so much. All right. This is another one of my favorites. Now, we have shared so many memories together.
Yes.
A lot. And every memory that we've ever shared, I feel like has brought something out of us
Yeah.
and has made it evolve into better. Whenever we get together, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. What is one of your favorite moments from our friendship that you think reflects who we are as a team? Because we've kind of been a team since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think working out at the gym together, letting you train me, and surrendering to your guidance, that's been fun.
As a goddess, that's probably hard to surrender
Yeah.
sometimes. I get that. I get that.
Yeah, and you correct me in a way that doesn't make me feel defensive. Like you don't even during yoga, you don't say like, no, you're doing it wrong. You say, can I show you how you could feel this better in your arms or whatever. So I think you have brought trust out in me. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And then you like to ask me advice on camera angles and
exactly.
taking pictures. And so that's been fun for me to share.
Yeah, you always need a friend that you can say, like, how does this look? Is this picture good? What about my outfit? Yes. I wrote, as a team, booty.
Yes.
Booty yoga.
Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit before.
That was, I was just thinking, it just reminded me when we were in Shavasana and I was crying and you reached out and grabbed my hand.
Aww.
It's going to make me cry now.
Because you're my best friend. Yeah, and booty was intense.
Yeah.
You were walking through some stuff. I was walking through some stuff, and it just brought us together, and we were able to leave all that on our mat.
Yeah. We needed that.
Yeah,
literally.
We literally needed that.
Yeah.
And what was it? 105 in that room? And I mean, this was
never
legit
sweat so much in my life.
Cardio.
Yeah.
And you know me, I don't
Wanting to give up.
I don't like cardio. Yeah, there were times. I mean, even in my fittest part of doing booty, I would look at the teacher and I'm like, this is insane. And then at one point she was like 9 months pregnant.
Yes. She was
We're over
inspirational.
there out of breath, can hardly even do the exercises.
Yeah.
And she's just getting
killing
it.
Yeah.
Addie, we love you. She's
Yeah,
the best.
I miss that.
I do miss that.
Yeah.
Well, I started to do the primal yoga, which is my own personal
Yeah.
spin-off
Love
of
that.
the booty yoga. I do love doing that class. It's very taxing on the body,
Yeah.
especially as the teacher, because I have to read the room and the energies and find, what you're going through, because it's not just physical.
Yeah.
I read the mental, I read the emotional. It's all in the air for me.
You can feel that.
You can feel that, and it's really draining. I have a rule. I won't teach that class unless I have at least 3 or more people, because you guys are the ones who help me engage in what we're going to do. You're the one that fuels me to be able to teach what I'm going to teach. I'm an intuitive teacher. When I started
like
yoga,
that.
I wrote everything down. I mean, I'm just starting my podcast now. I'm writing everything down. I pray that I'm able to do podcasts just intuitively very, very soon.
Right.
But yeah, that booty class and turning into primal therapy, the booty certification was $900. And I was like, you know what? I think I just might make my own version of it. It's not booty. It's
Right.
primal therapy. We are moving primally, like our bodies
Yeah.
should have continued to move as
Yeah.
we got older, not sit around and sit on our phones and
Right.
do all those things. So primally moving the
I
body.
like the animal references.
Yes. And ultimately, it's therapy.
Yeah.
Anytime a bunch of females get together
Yeah. We
and
can't
move
help
their
it.
body, that's therapy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we close out today?
No.
No?
I think we said it all.
I love that. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on here.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more. And you always
Thank
can
you.
come back on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today and learning a little bit more about both of us. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram, The Beautiful Goddess Next Door. And then I'd like to also thank Fusion Cantina. You've probably heard me say the words Fusion Studios because that's where I lived in my yoga days. It has now become one of the most amazing restaurants in the Port Charlotte area, right here on the corner of Veterans and Kings Highway. Again, Fusion Cantina. And thank you for allowing us to connect in this beautiful space. This is my home for years and years and years. This little couch was my bed. It was my lunch area. I've had so many huge meetings here, just about life and friends, and I feel really comfortable here. This place is open on Tuesdays through Saturdays at 4 p.m. Dinner only. And tell them I sent you. Have a blessed day. Mwah.
Yay.